Hi there. Right, today a few things I want to try and do with the America, and that's a side mount for the number plate and rear brake light. Start looking at what I'm going to do for the rear mudguard, the rear guard, and also I've dug out because I think I'm right in saying for an MOT, although Jen will probably run the bike without a mudguard, front mudguard most of the time, or at least in dry weather. I think for an MOT over here in the UK we need a mudguard. I think if it looks like there should be one on there, I think we need to have one on there. So can't get rid of it entirely, but I've dug out the great big honking mudguard come fork brace, really, almost. That's just a great big lump of steel there. So I'm going to have to keep the tags on it for when we put the mudguard back on, just for the MOTs. But I think because it is such a rigid kind of grunty piece, I might leave that on permanently as a fork brace. But what I want to do is chop these tabs off because they're pretty much useless and just look stupid. And the whole thing needs a bit of a going over with a lap wheel and then a few coats of Hammerite or something just to bring it back up to spec. So while the cutting disc is out, I'll probably lock those off. And the plans for the side mount, obviously we're on a bit of a budget, as in there is no budget, so it's literally using what I've got lying around and going through all the bits and bobs. I found that's the old that was the old rear light, number plate and indicator mounting bracket on the America. Just sit on the rear mudguard like that. I'm sorry, on the rear mudguard, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, I've taken it off, and I think I'm going to try and utilise this a little bit, because digging around, as you do, you save all your bits and bobs. I had this LED brake light from somewhere, and it's very lightweight. It's got the number plate light underneath it, which we'll need, and it's very bright. This one, which was the one that was on there, that we put on, I love this style of light. Even with an LED bulb in there, it doesn't throw out much light, and there's not an awful lot of difference to the braking on and off. So, and I could mount that as a side mount somehow, but it's quite a lumpy bit. So I think we're gonna go with this. And the plan is try and piece it together. It'll probably be more apparent when I get it on the bike, but basically going to mount that. See if I got this the right way around. Yep. That to that. The light will go on there, and then the number plate will sit here. I need to chop and tidy up those bits in. I may leave that bolt on there rather than chop it off, depending on what size number plate. At the moment we've got a legal size number plate, which means it's huge. Jen wants to get a slightly smaller, not taking the piss smaller, that just opens you out to getting pulled over, but just slightly more neater number plate. Whether or not that'll have enough room to stick some red reflectors on, because over here we have to have red reflectors by the brake light, I think. So I might leave that on there for MOT again, just to put a slight bracket. If the number plate sat there and a bracket with a red reflector, in fact I think I've still got the stock one off the Bonneville, which will just bolt on the back there if needs be. But that's kind of the plan. And then using where the indicator bolts used to, the indicators used to thread into, that's what will actually bolt it to, I think, the chain guard. When that sits on there, the chain guard kind of sits quite nicely there. These two lugs here, I can move the plate sideways a bit, and I'll just put something like a large threaded bolt or carriage bolt through there, and that's what will bolt it on. Kind of a bit gobbledygooky. It'll probably make more sense as we go along. So I'm going to get cracking on that, move the bike out whilst I get the grinder out, but I'll also probably just whip inside and show you what the plans are for the rear mudguard. Right then, that's picking up. That's roughly the kind of idea I think we're going to go with the rear mudguard. That is actually a front mudguard, I think off an old Speedmaster. Not an old Speedmaster, they're relatively new, but you know what I mean. I think it follows the kind of the profile of the tyre quite nicely. It's a little bit thinner than possibly I would have wanted, but actually I don't think it's too ridiculously bad. It's going to be pretty easy maybe to fab something up to mount it here. I'll need to cut it and trim it. I already started hacking it for something else, which changed direction. Need to get rid of these tabs here. My biggest concern at the moment is what this is going to be like when we take it off the stand and get a bit of weight on these shocks. What have I got there? Because obviously if this is mounted to that, I don't want the rear tyre bashing that, which I think is probably going to be a bit of an issue. But so what I might do is, although we haven't got the front disc and I haven't put the plasti dip on the wheel yet, I might just stick the axle through there and just take it off. But that might not be today because I've got a fair few bits and bobs to be getting on with. But just a bit of updating and fun and games. So right, onward with the project side main. Okay, so first state of play is I'm going to trim this bracket down because I'm only using these 2 bolts. This area is kind of surplus to requirements. I could just chop them straight, but I think it will look nicer if I match the contours with the back piece it's sitting on. For no other reason, it will just, you know, polish it to it, make it look as nice as we can. So eat natural, always keep your body nice and healthy, and start making a bit of a template. Trace around the one side, transfer it to the other side, and you'll get an exact copy. Go. Got the shape I wanted there. I've had to bend that slightly as well, just to get the angle of the dangle. I'm trying to know which way around, that way around. Nice, that looks a lot neater there. Right, that's part one. Get some bolts on that bad boy, and then start offering it up to the chain guard. off of this bad boy up and have a look. So I hope this makes a bit more sense now. So that's going to have a bolt going through it. Just going to bolt there, and then that. Watch it drop down. Oops, redraw some holes, and that will sit there. So you see a great big bloody number plate at the moment, but yeah, something along those lines. So hopefully that makes sense. Don't know why I'm bothering covering up the number plate. If you go through the videos, you'll probably figure it out. There we go. It's all mounted up, ready to rumble. Obviously, this is, as I said, the massive plank of a legal size plate in this country. Although I think now, because it's got the highlighting on the letters, that is actually even a no-no. It's bloody ridiculous. But that's on there for now. Obviously, I've now got the 2 original holes, the 2 holes from the last one, and the 2 new ones I've had to drill. So we'll be getting a new plate anyway. But this serves its purpose. But I'll just unstick you off the window and give you a little tour around. Okay. So obviously it needs to come off and have a coat of paint just where I've been cutting it and whatnot, and I've drilled a hole through there. But little blanking grommet in there, that plate's mounted on there. That's then bolted to the chain guard, and I mean it's a wee bit of flex, but there's no weight to that really. So it's all totally solid. Number plate light there, little bit hidden, but I think that will still throw a bit down because it's an LED one. What I think I'm going to do here is heat shrink or sleeve that, put a little P clip maybe on there or on there, and then just run it all heat shrinked either under or along the swing arm, and then that will follow up into the loom there. So that'll be nice and easy. Probably chop these bolts down, maybe pop some dome nuts on just to tidy it all up so it's not a load of bolts. But yeah, quite quick and easy that one. It's nice to make something for nothing out of just sort of bits you had knocking around. So there we go. That's probably it for today. But I'll get on with playing around with this and then getting this off the stand and seeing where we're at with that. That's the next one. But cool, thanks for watching. Hope you like it, and yeah, until next time, cheers.